Hello everyone, Monty here, market analyst at IG, here to take a look at not one, but two products in our sentiment study series. This is a tale of two indices, the Germany 40 or DAX 40 and the FTSE 100. In one, they have a tendency to experience some pretty heavy range trading, whereas in another, they have a tendency to want to stay to the buy side, opposite what we see with other indices. The thing is, though, when it comes to these two, we don't have institutional sentiment for them. We only have IG client sentiment. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off and take a look at where traders stand, or CO2 speculators stand, when it comes to key U.S. indices. And it's been a story of generally majority buy and rising. You have a lot of those momentum traders going with the movement. The exception, of course, the S&P 500. We did cover these in separate sentiment study videos. And the story with the S&P 500 is, it's heavily tracked even on our end. And that means that a lot of times when they come to us, they might be looking to, when you see higher highs, looking to protect or hedge against it. So it's a little different from the other two, where you got a lot more momentum traders there. But otherwise, generally speaking, you're looking at, with a couple of them majority buy and rising, and one of them majority sell. What about when it comes to IG client sentiment for key US indices? It's a story of heavy sell, and in one case, reaching extreme sell territory. US Tech 100 or NASDAQ 100, majority sell. Outer circle started this week. Inner circle that started last week, up a couple notches to a heavy sell, 70%. US 500 and S&P 500, a couple notches higher as well to 74%. And look at the Dow 30 or Wall Street, extreme sell, 81%. You look at key indices outside the US, Germany 40 or DAX 40, also extreme sell territory, 78%, whereas the ASX 200 or Australia 200, a couple notches shy of it. But the story, the theme so far is heavy to extreme sell territory. So when we look at the FTSE 100, you're probably expecting to see, quite a bit of red. Not exactly. They're starting off this week in the middle. They were majority short at the start of last week, but the story has generally been one of majority buy bias. So why is that the case? Well, let's go ahead and start off with the Germany 40 or DAX. We're going to plot sentiment onto the chart. So this is a daily time frame from end of November up until last Friday, and we're going to plot sentiment onto it. The blue dotted line represents IG client sentiment, looking at the left axis as percent long. So when you see, when price is over here at around 16,200, you see that the blue dotted line is around 24%. That means minority buy 25% and heavy sell 76%. And you see that as price rises, boom, taking it into extreme sell territory because the buy bias drops, looking for, whenever price settles, looking for a chance to average their way out, and seeing sometimes some heavy range trading. When price did manage to dip all the way back down to around 16,400, you see a lot of those shorts looking for a chance to get out, take a breath, and you see them fall out of extreme sell territory, but still majority sell. The 50-50 dotted line, it's not even here because they're in majority sell territory this entire time. What do I mean by that? Let me go ahead and flip over to the weekly time frame. Let's zoom out to that, and let's go ahead and plot sentiment over it. And here you'll see the red dotted line. Whenever the blue dotted line goes below, it means they're a majority sell. Whenever it's above, they're majority buy. That's why I put that there, so we can, it's a nice visual aid to be able to see exactly where they shifted from majority sell to majority buy. And you can see that way back when, this is in March of last year, when you saw these price gains, you saw shorts enter. You did see quite a bit of range trading happen here when you saw quite a bit of intra-week volatility. And afterwards, when you see the price come back down over here, you see them, a lot of these shorts start to get out and close out. And this was the big move down all the way to 14,600 roughly, is when you saw them shift into majority buy territory. A lot of those shorts got out, a lot of longs were initiating. And the thing is that whenever you see a lot of these longs initiating, and whenever you see them initiating past key support levels, because that means they're getting stuck on the way down, whenever you see that happen, a lot of those longs are kind of holding their breath because they're a bit worried. These are fresh longs trying to go for relatively limited profit taking. So when you do get a recovery, as we see over here, you see that it was very quickly levels, you see that there's this big move from majority buy, not to moderate majority sell or even heavy sell, all the way down into extreme sell territory. That's a very, very rare thing to see, but it is what we saw because this move went past key support turned to resistance levels all the way up past this one over here, past this one over here, and went all the way over here. And it's only over here where things settled a little bit that you see some attempts at range trading and averaging their way out when it comes to IG client sentiment. But you look at the DAX overall, in terms of It started off at around 14,000. I will pull up the chart in a bit on IG's trading platform, but starts around 14,000, ends all the way up here. You're looking at gains, year-on-year percentage gains of around 20%, 19-20%. S&P 500, around 24%. Nasdaq 100, even more than that. What about when it comes to the FTSE? Well, the FTSE really underperformed. It hasn't been a great year, let's put it that way. 2-3% gains, hardly much to brag about. But let's go ahead and start with the daily when it comes to the FTSE 100, and I'm going to go ahead and plot sentiment onto it. And right here on the daily time frame, we didn't see it on the Germany 40 or DAX 40. We didn't see the red dotted line because they were in extreme sell territory the entire time. Not so when it comes to FTSE 100. Majority buy, have the gains, longs get out, and shorts start to initiate, goes to majority sell territory, price comes down, back to majority buy, and so on and so forth, up until we get to 50-50, which is where they are right now. They're at the red dotted line because they're in the middle. You'll also notice something is that, generally speaking, in terms of day to day, you're not seeing a lot of heavy range trading like you'll see with the DAX 40 or even the ASX Australia 200. You're not seeing much of that. It's more about trading the move back towards a certain average because price is has been coming back towards an average. I'm going to zoom out to the weekly time frame to give you guys a better idea of what I mean. Generally speaking, just a story of coming back. You look at all the other key indices, the other ones that we mentioned, whether it's, we looked at the chart for the Germany 40, or the DAX 40, but you look at the S&P 500, you look at the Nasdaq 100, the Dow, even you see it's a story of moving up. So there isn't this move back towards an average that's going to entice those to trade that. But you do get that when it comes to the FTSE 100. And as a result, traders reacted accordingly. You see that the red dotted line, and it's just been a story of staying close to the middle, and generally with a slight majority buy bias. There are a couple of reasons for this. One, because it's coming back towards an average. So whenever there is going to be a dip, you are going to see longs immediately get in. But the second reason has to do with relative performance. If you are a FTSE trader and you're majority buy, you're holding a long position, and you're seeing the other indices rise 5%, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30%, and the FTSE's barely moving, up maybe 1 or 2%, you're more likely to want to hold on to it because you're going, okay, when is it going to be the FTSE's time to shine? It doesn't have to outperform, but just give me a move, just at least try and partially catch up with some of these other indices. And as a result, you see that a lot of times this is one of those cases where, unlike with other indices where it's usually traders are looking for an excuse to go to the sell side, and you'll see much bigger blue dotted line, bigger gaps here for the, in other words, a lot of blue dotted line in this area where the majority sell, with the FTSE they're majority buy. Somewhat similar to what we see with precious metals. I'm not saying they're treating it the same, but somewhat similar to what we saw with precious metals or commodities in general, where they're looking to stay to the buy side. I'm going to go ahead and pull up IG's trading platform, also available on our app, by the way, Germany 40, and you can see that this is from the end around October 2022, but you see that this is what the story's been. We did take a look at what happened here, where they briefly went to majority buy territory here, and then bam, you had this big move past key resistance levels that took them into extreme sell territory. But I'm going to flip over to the FTSE 100, and this is all the way back from late 2021. And look at that. It's been generally a story of averaging back. I'm not saying that there haven't been some volatile weeks. There certainly have been. Throughout this period of time, by the way, the overview usually shifting on a weekly time frame, usually between cautious consolidation or when volatility picks up, consolidation volatile, where you have volatility during the week that's going past key weekly levels with relative ease, like you get here, like you got here and here, or even up here. But generally speaking, averaging back, and that of course is what I meant by a lot of traders. Whenever you see the dips, kind of going, okay, you know what, the others are going up, this is falling, let's go to the buy side and let's ride it up at least until it comes back to a certain average. So hope that explains it, and I hope you enjoyed the sentiment study series. Good luck out there.